fish through the night. As the fish are dried in the sun, Jane, who is fluent in Swahili, begins another day. Jane has decided her time will be most profitably spent on top of the mountain.
Up above the thick forest of the valleys, I was able to watch the chimpanzees over long distances. In this way, I was able to learn much about chimpanzee behavior. At the same time, it gave them an opportunity of getting accustomed to my presence.
From a mountain perch, Jane learns that chimps range over the Gombe area in small groups of 3 to 6 and may travel as far as 10 miles a day in search of food. Groups constantly change in size and membership, merging and separating, and have no apparent leaders. Chimps, Jane finds, are meticulous about each other's appearance and spend up to 2 hours a day in mutual grooming. In contrast to the often ill-tempered chimp in captivity, chimps in the wild are eager and happy to do for each other. In the Gombe area, most groups live harmoniously. They are promiscuous and generously share mates. Another group has become aware of the presence of the chimps grooming nearby. They, at least temporarily, seem to have a leader. With much excitement, the visitors head for the group of chimps, so peacefully grooming away the quiet afternoon. There's to be a grand reunion. It will seem like a clash between enemies, but it's really a reunion of friends. For the chimpanzee, a hurt foot seems a small price to pay for the unbridled joy in meeting by chance friends and lovers again. Observation from the mountain has its rewards, and soon Jane has a little hut built where she keeps a blanket, some coffee, and a few tins of food. It makes it possible for her to enjoy a noontime snack. But more importantly, now she can stay on the mountain for long periods, studying the chimps without interruption. It's especially profitable when the fruit trees around the mountain are ripe and the chimps begin to feed and camp near their peak. For chimps, the Gombe Reserve provides a harsh environment. The bulk of their diet is vegetarian, but food is often hard to find. Still, they spend up to 7 hours a day in feeding, and the great pleasure derived from grooming seems surpassed in the act of eating. It's been a long and exhausting afternoon. As dusk approaches, it's time for sated chimps to think of sleep. Here, Jane, too, will spend the night, high above the African forest.
There is a special fascination about the sudden nightfall in a forest, when the sounds of the day give place to the more mysterious sounds and rustles of the night. I always enjoyed these nights in the mountains with no human companionship. My childhood dream was being realized, but I little dreamt then how long it would take to get close up amongst the chimps.
Their general behavior is no longer a secret, but she must learn more of their intimate lives. Tomorrow, she must awake with the wild chimpanzees and somehow get closer. At the end of December, the long rains come to the African forest. For 4 months, it will rain almost every day. The weather is no deterrent to Jane Goodall in her determination to get close to the chimps. Although chimpanzees hate getting wet, Jane observes they don't seem to know enough to get out of the rain. Instead, they sit in wet misery and watch a single chimp perform what Jane calls the rain dance. Then as suddenly as it began, both the rain and the dance are over. Jane has watched the rain dance from a distance of 100 yards. Are the chimps becoming accustomed to her presence, or were they merely distracted by the rain? She moves in a little closer and makes a startling discovery. She sees a chimp picking a leaf, crumpling it in his mouth, and using it to sop up water collected deep in a hollow of a tree. Up till now, man alone has been considered the tool maker.
Chimpanzees have been seen drinking from natural water bowls in Uganda, but on those instances, they merely dipped their fingers into the water and licked off the drops. The exciting fact in the Gombe stream area is that the chimpanzee, by initially crumpling the leaves into a sponge, is in fact making a tool.
Jane must find further confirmation of tool making. Hopefully, she moves in still closer. The forest resounds with a call of alarm. The chimps have no real language, but a variety of calls express communicable emotions. And now the emotion is fear. It means that not yet may the blonde stranger draw near. Now Jane decides to build a blind, a screen of leaves that will help conceal her from the chimps. After nearly a year in the forest, She hopes she will be able to observe them from as close as 100 feet. At last, the blind is ready. She selected a place at which she knows the chimps will feed. And now, with binoculars set, she waits. Jane hopes to observe details of chimp behavior never reported before. Suddenly, the chimps sense something is wrong. She's been discovered. The chimps seem suspicious, but undecided. They are accustomed to Jane only from afar. Now, should they remain or run away? As long as Jane remains hidden, the chimps decide, they can stay. Now Jane will be able to study the chimps as individuals, to recognize them and give them names.
Flo is, by our standards, a most ugly female. Flo's daughter, Fifi, still goes around with her family, and although she is now endowed with the charms of youth, she has many of her mother's features and will be no beauty in a few years' time. Little Flint, like all chimp babies, is packed full of charm and endearment. Leaky, a big, rugged fellow, can be easily recognized because of the exposed white of his left eye, where the lower lid has been torn. He was named after my friend, Dr. Leakey. Goliath is distinguished by his bald forehead. David Greybeard is exceptionally good-looking. His grey whiskers and his calm gaze give him an air of distinction.
Flint is observed on his first venture away from his mother. Flint now appeals to Leakey for comfort. Chimp babies are indulged and made to feel secure. Violent quarrels, Jane discovers, may erupt for no apparent reason, and just as quickly turn into play. Allowed to watch. For Jane, these are triumphant days. About 40 chimps come under Jane's close scrutiny in the blind. And slowly they become used to having her near.
The chimps gradually came to realize that I was not dangerous after all. And after about 15 months, I was allowed to approach a small group without attempting to hide. I think it was one of the proudest and most exciting moments of my life.
Now Jane may work with the chimps only 30 feet away.
So the early days of difficulty and frustration passed, and I became more and more fascinated by the chimps themselves, the pleasure of studying them and the delight of discovery.
In the dry season, tired chimps like to take naps on the ground. It's a long, lazy afternoon under the trees in the shade. After nearly 2 years among the chimps, Jane now studies them in the open, tolerated, ignored. And here she will remain for 3 years more. Every day of the week, Jane Goodall spends an average of 12 hours in the field. Every day after a quick breakfast at dawn, she departs for another rendezvous with the chimps. Meanwhile, Dominic, the cook, prepares the daily bread, which he will bake in the hot African sun. In the forest, besides observing the chimps, Jane carries on other aspects of her work, like tasting the food they eat. She is determined to examine closely one of the chimpanzees' nests. Some are as high as 80 feet and almost impossible for Jane to reach. She's found a chimp's nest. Doesn't look very strong, but she finds it can support a primate very well. In fact, it's rather comfortable. At camp, the bread is about ready. Suddenly, the cook sees an incredible sight. Chimps are visiting the camp. Once before, a single chimp had ventured into camp, and Jane had missed him. It must not happen again. As arranged, a towel is tied to a tree as a signal to Jane in the field that there are chimps in the camp. Having examined the nest, Jane is out looking for her chimpanzees. Chimps in the camp. If she's gained the confidence of the chimps to this extent, she mustn't miss them again. It's a heartwarming sight when Jane sees Flint atop of a tent. This visit means that at last her chimpanzees have lost all fear of her. They feel secure enough even to threaten her. The camp holds many fascinations. A laundry basket becomes an object for war between Fifi and little brother Flint. In 1964, with time out only for brief visits home to England, Jane is still in the field.
People often wonder if I miss the conveniences of home. Certainly, there are times when I long to hear good music, and too, there are times when I wish there was leisure to read non-scientific books. But apart from this, I can honestly say that I'm completely happy here at the reserve. Life in a tent, washing in an icy stream, and even the heat of midday, the torrential rains, and the sometimes bothersome insects are all part of life in the bush. This was the life I had always wished for, and I've certainly never regretted choosing it.
Between Jane and the chimps, by now practically all barriers are down. Yet these are still wild and powerful animals, and with this new intimacy, she is in greater personal danger than ever before.
Sometimes it's difficult to resist playing with some of my young chimp friends. 8-year-old Figgin is always gentle when we play, but already he's stronger than a man, and soon it'll be too dangerous to play with him. At present, the chimps do not seem to realize that they're stronger than I am, and the main danger in playing with the young ones is that they might one day learn their own superiority.
Jane has come a long way from those early days of frustration and despair. Now, after 4 years in the forest, she reaps the rewards of total acceptance. At about 12, chimps reach maturity. Until then, Jane observes, they develop their strength mainly by play in the trees. Meanwhile, little Flint does the best he can. One day, Jane conducts an experiment with a toy chimpanzee as a potential playmate for Flint. Jane introduces the strangely quiet new member of the group and watches for Flint's reaction. Flint's curiosity has been aroused. But like all wild chimps, he's afraid of anything new. Jane places a mirror in the forest and wonders how the chimps will react to this. They've seen themselves for the first time, and Jane records for posterity the shattering experience. One puzzled young female can't believe what she sees. It's an utter mystery. She looks behind the mirror to see who's there, but the mystery remains unsolved. Yet the image must have substance. Perhaps if she puts her hand behind. Jane notes the logical, if untutored, deduction of the chimp and observes that older chimps are remarkably quick to relate their movements to those in the mirror. But patience is short-lived, and with relief, bewildered chimps leave behind the enigma of the mirror. Now that she may work unhindered, Jane makes her greatest strides in significant discovery. A chimp scrambles through the bush with the most unexpected prey, and Jane is the first to confirm the fact that, like men, chimps in the wild eat meat.
It was an exciting moment when I first saw a chimpanzee eating meat. Exciting and important. Previously, people had thought that chimps in the wild might occasionally eat a small rodent or a nestling, but to discover that they actually hunt and kill larger mammals is something quite new. I have seen them eating the flesh of young bush pig and bush buck several times, but the most frequent prey appears to be the red colobus monkey.
Jane moves in closer and observes a chimp con man at work. Goliath is innocently grooming David's eye, while his free hand nears David's toes and steals a piece of David's monkey right under David's nose. No detail of chimp behavior is overlooked by Jane, no matter how trivial it may presently seem. Almost anything she finds may prove of major significance in the search for knowledge of early man. Toward the rainy season, the chimps are found feeding at a termite hill. Using grass stems as fishing rods, they stick them into open termite holes, draw out the clinging insects, and enjoy an especially tasty meal. Now Jane will be the first scientist able to conclusively prove that untrained chimps not only use, but make tools. After the implement is carefully selected, it will be transformed from an ordinary stem into a crude tool made for a particular purpose. This is the confirmation of tool-making Jane has long been seeking.
The fact that these chimpanzees use twigs and grasses when feeding on termites was one of the most exciting discoveries I made. It was known that some wild animals made use of natural objects as tools, but the chimpanzee, when he strips leaves off a twig, is actually modifying a natural object to suit it to a specific purpose, and he is thus making a tool.
According to scientists, early man began at the stage of primate evolution when the animal creature began to make tools. Now, after Jane's discovery, Dr. Leakey will say, we must either redefine man, redefine tool, or accept chimpanzees as men. Jane's work will now be recognized by scientists throughout the world. It may stand for all time as a unique record of chimp behavior in the wild. She has made friends of wild animals, and in so doing, has been able to observe them at closer quarters and in more intimate detail than has ever been managed before. After 5 years in the African forest, Jane Goodall's long struggle for equal footing with the chimps is won. Five years with the chimps have given Jane Goodall a rare insight into their personal lives.
The animals I watched have no real language, do not build shelter, have not discovered fire, yet they are the most nearly human of all the animals on Earth.
Late in the afternoon one day, a lone chimp with her newborn baby enters a clearing on the Gombe Reserve. She's been traveling alone and would like to find a companionable group with which to stay. Nervously, she sits apart from the other chimps and waits for a sign of acceptance. Jane names her Melissa and hopes she will be received. Yet at any time, the only stable unit in chimp society is the mother and her child. Melissa gathers her courage and, in the chimp language of touch, pleads her case. In gesture, she indicates her need for reassurance and friendship. how she addresses her offer of companionship to the group at large. She is studied and sniffed and considered before a final decision is made. Melissa and her baby have been admitted to the group. A candidate for a PhD at Cambridge, Jane today continues her work at the Gombe Reserve.
My 5 years observing the chimps have been the most satisfactory of my life. I've done what I wanted to do from early childhood, but the work has not yet ended. This is just the beginning, and it is my firm belief that a complete understanding of the behavior of the chimpanzee will eventually lead to man's better understanding of himself.
Jane Goodall was one of the first to perceive and report insightfully about the individual personalities of chimpanzees. This approach is basic to her research. And in recent years, she has made us all increasingly aware of the crises facing chimps in their natural habitats. Not long ago, Goodall spoke quite eloquently on this point. She said, "We can try to create a network of conserved ranges throughout Africa where chimpanzees can continue to live their lives, and we can fight the conditions under which they are maintained in captivity. I propose to devote the rest of my life to fighting for these improvements. I owe it to them. They've given me so much in my life. Now I want to give them as much as I can." Next time on the Best of National Geographic, we'll explore a different path to another corner of our endlessly rewarding, ever-changing world. I'm Mike Farrell for the National Geographic Society.
National Geographic wishes to acknowledge Chevron for making possible the National Geographic Specials.
What a terrific way to spend a Sunday evening with Jane Goodall and friends. I hope you've enjoyed that program. We have more gorillas coming up, in fact, on Nature in just a couple of minutes. But first, we want to give you an opportunity to become a supporting member of your public television station. You know, we've been, in fact, going on about 10 days here trying to raise the necessary funds to continue to buy you great programming. And we haven't interrupted any of the programs during this pledge drive because that's the way you've asked us to do it. And if you appreciate that, this is one of those moments in between programs where we ask you to give us a call at the number you see on the screen and tell us that you want to support your public station. That's why we're here. That's what this celebration is all about. This is the last night. We only have 3 or 4 or 5 more hours, and then we go away until next March. You'll continue to receive beautiful, uninterrupted programs, however. Our festival goal is $300,000 during this drive, and we're at about $240,000 right now. That means we're going to have to pick up about $60,000 tonight. It's a snowy night in Colorado. We know we can do it. We serve a viewing audience all over the United States. So we ought to hear from all of you tonight. Call us now. This last program that you just enjoyed was brought to you locally by Longmont Foods and by Qantas Airways. Those are two of the folks that brought this program to you. They help us. We want you to help us as well with your individual membership by calling us right now at 623-6666 and telling our volunteer operators that you want to join the celebration that we're having here at Channel 6. Call us now. It's the Christmas season. There's no better bargain than your public television station. Here's Mary Rossick. Mary?
Well, thank you very much, Joe. I agree with you. Channel 6 is a bargain because you get great programs year in, year out. But we don't do it alone. We do it with a mandate you establish, and this is your opportunity to do so right now. So go to the phone and get involved in National Geographic, that wonderful profile of Jane Goodall. What a delightful study of her primates and how she works with them and interacts with them. I've learned so much about myself watching them, and perhaps you have too this evening as well. Very shortly, we'll be going into a nature program on gorillas, so stay tuned. But right now, it's not enough just to watch the program. Right now is your opportunity to go to the phone and get involved in the program, not just as a viewer, but as something very special. As a Channel 6 member, you can carry that distinction all year long. But right now, if you don't take that opportunity, you won't be able to. So go to the phone and get involved. We're looking for 50 members at any level. That's you and 49 others. And when we reach that goal during this particular break, we will earn $1,000 from an anonymous donor, a friend of nature programming on Channel 6. He would like to challenge you to go to the phone and get involved. I'm here this evening with the Friends of the Denver Chamber Orchestra. They'll be with us all evening as we celebrate a great partnership between our community and Channel 6. And you can be part of this partnership. All it takes is a simple phone call. So please join us right now, become a part of this wonderful celebration, and let us know with your call that Channel 6 and programs such as Nature and National Geographic mean a lot to you. You can call, by the way, locally or long distance, courtesy of our friends at MCI, and we appreciate their support as well. We are now at 4 members, so we've got some ways to go during this break to reach this challenge. But if you go to the phone and make that call right now, we can do it. If you charge your membership, you're going to get something very special. It's a zoo booklet. It's a delightful booklet that's all about animals, and you have your choice, whether it be bears or pandas or lions or tigers or bears. Let our volunteers know when you call up. That booklet will be yours. You see it right there when you call and charge your membership during this break. Get involved. This is the time to do it. It's the last evening of our membership drive. We're dwindling down to the last couple of hours. We had a hefty goal, and we still would like to achieve it, of $300,000, but we've got some ways to go, and that's why this break right now is so critical. You can become a member at any level, $10 a month or $5 a month. $40 is a family membership, and that's a great thing to do for yourself and your children. Or our $25 introductory membership level. That's a 50-cent a week investment in nature programming that we bring to you each and every day on Channel 6. Call now, be a part of this great celebration, and let us know that programs such as National Geographic and Nature, which we brought to you uninterrupted, are important to you. And now here's Trudy Fowler.
Well, this has been a great celebration, and we are winding down to the last hours. We have a challenge now of 50 people to call, and we will earn an extra $1,000 towards nature programming. We've heard from 6 people, so we can make it if you get up and go to that phone. I know you're awful comfortable in that chair, and it's snowing outside, and it's kind of nice to just stay and watch us, but do more than that. Invest in Channel 6, invest the great programs. We brought you a decade of super programming, the full PBS schedule, and we want to be able to bring those to you again in the next decade. The upcoming program is going to be terrific. Well, it's a nature program that's about the mountain gorillas, a great group of primates. They're very friendly to man, and it'll be an interesting program for you to watch. But now, become a member, become an investor in the programming here at Channel 6. And when you do at the $120 level, and when you stop and think of it, that's just $10 a month, and you can do that in installments if you'd like. $10 a month will bring you our calendar, the Channel 6 calendar that features 13 of our artists from the anniversary collection from last year's auction. Beautiful calendar that you'll want to take advantage of and have for yourself. Also, you'll receive the Colorado Homes and Lifestyles subscription, which will bring you a magazine every other month for the next year, featuring beautiful homes and lifestyles in Colorado, as well as the 6 Style, which is an overview of Channel 6 programs that they have done for Channel 6. So we're asking you to become involved, invest at $10 a month, $5 a month, the $40 family membership. I want to thank Harold for his call from Princeville, Oregon. Great, you've started out the pledging right now from Oregon. Let's go over to Joe and see who he's heard from.
Well, I haven't heard from a whole lot of folks in the back row yet. These people are so well dressed tonight, and they're anxious to meet some new friends. That's why they've come down this evening. We have 10 right now. We're looking for, what was it, 50? Yeah. 50 folks, and then we get an extra $1,000. So that means 40 more to go. We can do it easily. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call right now and tell us that you want to support your public television station on the very last day here, the very last day of our drive. Oh, now they're starting to come in. Okay, let's see here. We have the Davis family. This is terrific from Pineville, Oregon. That's a long way away. Come on, Colorado. Let's get you in here, too. Here's one from Evergreen, Colorado, the Buchanan family. Thank you very much. And Christine from Inglewood. There's another pledge. Those are 3 of the folks that have come in so far, but I bet we haven't heard from you yet. So why not head for that telephone and make that call. We're up to 12 right now. Chugging along. We're going to make it to 50. As soon as we get to 25, it's all downhill after that. We're looking for some successes this evening. Our Broncos weren't as successful this afternoon as we might have liked, but we'd like to be successful here this evening and close off our drive as close to $300,000 as we possibly can, because those dollars are the ones that we're going to be using starting Monday morning to buy programs for you in 1990. So we want to be able to bring you always the very best programming that's available, and we can do it with your help and your financial support. So pick up a little piece of the station tonight. $25, $50, $100 if you can afford it. Help us reach that goal of $300,000. This is the way public television makes its money. It's not always easy, but We're doing the best we can, and we can do a lot more with your help and your phone call. I should mention that a special benefit of membership is Promo Magazine, and this will be coming your way each month throughout the year, and it will be a ready reminder of all of the fine public television programs that are on the air here at Channel 6. So you can set your video recorder or make certain that you make a mental note on your calendar at home for programs you don't want to miss. Also, for a pledge tonight of $60, we will make certain that you get a one-person lift ticket for one day in Breckenridge for great skiing. And certainly with the weather we're having outside right now and the wonderful snow in the mountains, this is going to be a real treat. So for a $60 pledge tonight, we'll send you a special thank you from Breckenridge. Also, for a pledge of $365, you'll get a one-way ticket, or rather a round-trip ticket. I'm making that shorter trip than it really is. A round-trip ticket on Continental Airlines, and that will be any place they fly in the continental United States. There's a couple of blackout periods around holidays, but otherwise it's good for the entire year up until next December. So that's for a pledge of $365. It's hard to buy an airline ticket for most places in the U.S. for that kind of money right now. So you get the ticket, plus you become a member of Channel 6. We're up to 20. That's only 30 more to go. Once again, here's Mary. Mary?
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. This is exciting because the phones are getting very, very busy, and that's music to our ears because we have people calling in, but you haven't called yet. So go to the phone right now and get involved. We're just over halfway there. We have 25 members, and we need to hear from you and 24 others to meet this challenge. We're willing to work for that $1,000, and we're doing it right now with your help. Please go to the phone and get involved and join Dodie from Norwood, Colorado, and Dottie from Boulder, $25 member, and $120 from Richard, who's doing it at $10 a month, and that's a great way to do it. Invest in the programs you love. We can set up a payment plan for you. We'll remind you every month of your commitment to great programming, as Richard has done. And Lisa's is $30 one-year member, and she's charged to membership and is going to get the zoo book, and you can too. But if you don't go to the phone right now, you'll miss this opportunity to let us know how much nature programming means to you. We're up to 30 members right now, so that's you and 20 others, and we can do it. My addition's not very good, but subtraction. Here's Trudy.
There's still a few phones available, but the Denver Chamber Orchestra is busy, and thank you so much. If you haven't called, call now, just like Jerry did from Golden, who pledged $50, and Katie for her $25, and Skip from Cheyenne, and John from Castle Rock for his $120. He'll be doing that in installments. And Chuck, thank you for your pledge of $365. He's going to take a trip, it looks like, and we appreciate that. Chuck is from Denver. I'll amend that. He's not going to take a trip. He just wants to pledge $360 to Channel 6. Great, Chuck. We really appreciate it. ND, thank you for your pledge of $50 from Aurora. Kenneth from Aurora as well, $50. And maybe for $100 from Lakewood. We're up to 37. We're making progress. That's great. $365 from, it looks like, Robert. We appreciate that, Robert. You're going someplace great. And Robert's from Denver. Thank you so much. We're up to 37. We're 13 away. We can do it. 38. We're 12 away. You and 11 others, and we can make that challenge. Great reasons to join Channel 6. Nature, nature of things, the best of the National Geographic specials, the wild, wild world of animals. Great programming. Mary, don't you agree?
Oh, I do certainly, Trudy, and we only have 10 left to meet this challenge, so go to the phone right now and get involved and be a part of Channel 6, because this is how it works. We're public television, and what that means is we're sponsored by you, not by commercial advertisers. And when you go to the phone right now and get involved, as Shirley has done at a $120 level, and Joyce from Delta at $120, these people are saying yes to Channel 6, and you can as well. We're 8 away right now, so that's you and 7 others. Go to the phone and show your support for nature programs. Shortly, we'll be going into nature's programs on gorillas. Join Sally from Denver, a $100 member, and Linda from Morrison, Colorado, who's charged to membership and is going to get the Breckenridge lift ticket. We're 5 away. That's you and 4 others. Your call could earn us $1,000. So go to the phone right now and get involved. We'll be going back into nature in just one moment. You'll see it uninterrupted only on Channel 6. But right now, make that simple call. It will only take a moment, and help us meet this challenge for nature programming. Thank you.
Channel 6 and the Denver Chamber Orchestra thank President Tuxedo, located at the Tabor Center, Denver, for their donation of formal wear. Thank you, President Tuxedo, for joining the celebration.
Celebrate tonight, uninterrupted on 6.
From the majestic Notre Dame Cathedral in Montreal, enjoy the sounds of the season in a Christmas special with Luciano Pavarotti. See the world's favorite tenor in an unforgettable performance, including Ave Maria and Adeste Fideles.
Tonight at 7:25, here on Channel 6. Presentation of Nature is made possible locally in part by a grant from the Schramm Foundation.
Nature is made possible by the financial support of viewers like you. By Siemens, engineering solutions in electronic components and medical systems, telecommunications, energy and automation, Siemens. And by your gas company and America's gas industry, developing ways to use gas more efficiently for more than 160 million people across America.
This is the sort of dense African vegetation that's home to the mountain gorilla, the world's largest primate, the rarest of all the great apes, and one of man's closest living relatives. But just as we humans have not been very kind to each other during our time on this planet, we have not been kind to the mountain gorilla. We've persecuted it, kidnapped it for our zoos, and shot it just for sport. In recent decades, however, a small band of dedicated people has fought a good fight to protect the mountain gorilla and hopefully ensure its survival. Diane Fossey, for example, lived among them here in Africa for 18 years, sharing their daily lives almost as a member of the family. By the end of this hour, I think you will understand why mountain gorillas inspired such passion in Diane Fossey and others who have taken the time to get to know them.